In the world of Stranger Things, where the supernatural threats from the upside down are met with government conspiracies and psychic powers, one of the most authentically human stories belongs to Eddie Munson. He is the loud, long-haired, heavy metal-loving head of the Hawkins High School Hellfire Club, a Dungeons. His performance is big, theatrical, and designed to shock. He shouts about conformity being a prison, he plays furious guitar riffs in his trailer, and he leads his of transforming his shame into a badge of honor and of creating a family from fellow misfits. His performance is, in essence, his survival. Eddie's life in Hawkins is a constant battle against a predetermined script. He's a senior repeating his final year, not out of stupidity, but likely out of a combination of disengagement and economic hardship, living in a trailer park with an absent uncle. In the rigid social hierarchy of 1980s small-town America, he is at the very bottom. The popular kids, the athletes, the preppies, they have all the power, and they use it to label him as weird, dangerous, a cult leader, and a satanic influence. So, Eddie does a brilliant and heartbreaking thing. He accepts the label, but he rewrites its meaning. If the town of Hawkins is going to call him a villain, a freak, and a demon, then he will play that role with more passion and commitment than they could ever imagine. He turns their insults into his character sheet. His loud speeches in the school hallway, his wild eyes, his dramatic gestures, they are a performance for an audience that expects him to be a certain way. By amplifying their worst fears about him, he takes away their power to define him secretly. He is saying, "You think you're whispering about me? I'll scream it for you. You think I'm a monster? Let me show you my teeth." This performance is a shield. It pushes people away before they can get close enough to hurt him. And it ensures that only those who look past the performance will ever see the real Eddie. Nowhere is this performance more pure and transformative than in the basement of Hawkins High, during the meetings of the Hellfire Club. Here, Eddie is not the town pariah, he is the dungeon master, the master storyteller, the all-powerful guide to worlds of fantasy and adventure. This is where his performed identity stops being just a reaction to bullies and becomes a true, positive expression of who he is and who he wants to be. Around that table, he is not performing for his detractors, he is performing for his friends, his believers. He uses the language and lore of dungeons. For a few hours each week, these kids are not losers, they are heroes on an epic quest. Eddie's passionate narration, his voices for the characters, his intricate plots, this is the performance as an act of creation and love. He is building a sanctuary where identity is not about what family you come from or what clothes you wear, but about the choices you make and the courage you show. The brilliance of Eddie's character arc is how this performed identity, this Hellfire Club persona, is tested and ultimately proven to be his truest self when real monsters arrive. When the actual, terrifying threat of Vecna emerges, the lines between his and Eddie, their fearless leader, is suddenly faced with a choice. He could run. He is, after all, the town's most wanted man, wrongly accused of the murders Vecna committed. The performance could crack under this real-world pressure. But it doesn't. Instead, it solidifies. Eddie realizes that the virtues he has been performing and preaching in his basement, bravery, loyalty, protecting the party, are not just game mechanics. They are real values. His chance to run, to save himself, comes when he is safely in the upside-down version of his own trailer. He could stay there, hidden, and survive. But he remembers his friends are still in danger. In that moment, the performance and the man become one. He doesn't pick up a 20-sided die, he picks up his guitar. The now iconic scene of Eddie Munson playing Metallica's Master of Puppets on a rooftop in the Upside Down is the ultimate climax of his performance as identity. It is an act of breathtaking, reckless theater. He is literally using loud, shocking music to create a distraction, just as his personality has always been a distraction from his pain. But this time, the performance has a direct, heroic purpose. He is not just rejecting conformity, he is actively fighting a demon. He is the bard inspiring his party, the warrior drawing the monster's aggro in a final, glorious stand. As he loses himself in the music, screaming and shredding against a blood-red sky, he is utterly, completely Eddie Munson. The outcast, the metalhead, the dungeon master, the leader. All the layers of performed defiance coalesce into a single, authentic act of sacrifice. He dies not as the freak Hawkins thought he was, but as the hero he always performed as for his friends. In his final moments, he tells Dustin, "I didn't run away this time, right?" This line is the key. His entire life, running away from expectations, from judgment, from pain, was encoded in his defiant performance. But in the end, he used that very performance to stand his ground. He turned the act into action. Therefore, Eddie Munson's story is a powerful testament to the idea that what we choose to perform can become who we truly are. His Hellfire Club persona started as a defense mechanism, a loud costume to wear in a world that hated him. But through the genuine connections he forged with his club members, and through the unwavering commitment to the values of that fantasy world, the costume became his skin. He taught a group of kids that it is okay to be different, that found family is everything, and that bravery comes in many forms, even in the form of a dramatic speech or a guitar solo. He never got a diploma from Hawkins High, but he earned a far greater title, a hero. He showed that identity is not just something you are born with, it is something you can build, perform, and ultimately die for. In a show filled with psychic battles and interdimensional wars, Eddie's journey reminds us that one of the most powerful forces in the universe is the choice to be yourself, unapologetically, even if you have to shout it from a rooftop in hell to make it real. His performance was his identity, and in the end, that identity saved his friends and finally gave him the peace of knowing he was, and always had been, the hero of his own story.